Howdy! Banjo Ben here again on the guitar, and today we're going to talk about our pick, how to hold the pick, and how to hold your hand on the guitar. Okay, these are just basic little lessons about building speed. Okay, I'm going to put a little speed series together. It's going to concentrate on actually holding the pick and the pick itself, right hand technique and left hand technique. This is the first of those installments, and so hang on, we're going to build you some speed, I promise. G-lip. Woo! That was a quick one. First of all, the number one mistake that I probably see beginner flat pickers make, and that I saw myself make just not too long ago. I haven't been flat picking very long, just a few years. So, but the thing that I started out doing was using an extremely thin pick. Okay? Now that's easy to do because usually before you start flat picking, you're just playing rhythm. And as a beginning guitar player, it's easy because your right hand is not really graceful yet. You're just slamming through the strings. So it's easy to get a light gauge pick and slam through those strings. Okay, so then whenever you start taking up lead playing or you start taking up flat picking, you just keep the same pick. That's what you're familiar with. You've already probably formed an opinion against those thick picks. If you're like me, you look at them and say, how can anybody use those? I don't know why they still make them. They probably don't even sell them. Okay, but the truth is, I use them now. Okay, the other truth is, I'm not using one today, but this is more of a medium gauge pick. This is a Pick Boy Rainbow Classic. Okay, it's only 0.75 millimeters thick, a little thinner than what I usually like to use. But I've just picked one up a couple weeks ago, and I kind of like them for being such a thin pick compared to the 1.15 or the 1.2 millimeters that I usually use. It has really good tone, and it's a really tough material for how thin it is. That's really the main thing we're looking for. Is not necessarily the certain number it has to have, it's how it reacts to the string, okay? Because you'll never build speed if your pick can't keep up with your hand. Does that make sense? Let me try to explain it. Say my finger's a string, and your hand's getting really fast. We're building speed over here, but you pick through that string, and your pick doesn't come with you. A really thin pick will hang out on that string. Just think about it. It'll hang out, and as your hand starts to go through, it's still bending, till finally it pops through. Okay, then you're on your way back up already. So what it'll do is cause unclean playing and just lack of speed altogether. Okay, so I know it's hard to break old habits, but if you're trying to flat pick and you're frustrated because you can't build any speed, your tone's probably not too good and it's probably not very clean. I want you to go up to at least a medium pick, if not a medium heavy or a heavy. Okay, I kind of worked my way up till finally I arrived at the heavy picks. The other thing I wanted to mention is the main reason, besides that I like to use thicker picks is the tone that those thicker picks will pull out of your guitar. Okay? With those thick picks, you're really plucking that string. Okay? So you're causing that guitar, that mandolin, to to show its money's worth to you. Okay? So you're causing that, you want that top to vibrate. You want that string to cause that guitar just to go into a seizure and get out the best tone possible. Okay, I feel like with really light gauge picks, you're just playing the strings. You're not really making the wood talk. Okay, so with a thicker pick, especially on mandolin, and especially when I'm doing trills, you can't beat a thick pick. And beat a thick. I said bick a thick. All right, beat a thick pick. Okay, so we'll go out and get you one. Just try it out. If you just stay on it for a week or two, I think you'll get used to it. Okay, next thing I'd like to say is, remember that what I'm telling you here are my opinions, and they're the results of my own individual research, okay? So you'll always find exceptions to the rule, no matter what I tell you, okay? These are just what I've seen and what I've come home and what I've woodshedded and what I've worked out for me. You need to work out what works out for you, but I think I have some tips here that do apply to everybody. But once again, you can go out and watch these hot bluegrass pickers, and there's going to be somebody doing it different, okay? And they just learned it different, or it just works for them. Okay, so I encourage you to just take what I'm telling you today, try it out for yourself, stick with it for a little while, see if it works for you. If not, then go off on your own. But I do know that probably a majority of the pickers would share my opinion, majority of the really fast ones. I know a lot of the really fast ones. I've played with them, and I've toured with them, and so I've learned from them and picked up little things here and there. So first thing I want to say is there's a guy named Brad Davis who is just an absolute out-of-this-world picker. He's played for Earl Scruggs, he's played for the Forrester Sisters, he's played for Marty Stewart, he's played for Billy Bob Thornton, he's played for Sam Bush, which you have to be a super picker to play for really any of those people, but especially Sam. And he is a speed demon. And one thing that he corrected on my playing was how I actually held the pick. Originally, I used to hold the pick with my thumb and my forefinger pointing at almost the same direction. You see that? And the pick would just kind of come out the side like that. Okay? He had me change it to where my thumb and my forefinger would go almost in an opposite direction. They're pointing opposite directions from each other. And then place the pick right in there and tuck it in. This pick is actually resting in this little joint of my finger. Okay? To where I just have this tiny little triangle edge of the pick sticking out. Okay? So try that. If your thumb and forefinger are facing the same directions, just try to reposition it. It's going to feel uncomfortable for a while, but anything that's right, whenever I change something about my technique, I'll know within a day or two if it's right, because usually within a day or two things will seem easier, or you'll get just a little bit faster. It may still seem uncomfortable, but you're like, wow, I've never been able to do that before. So just try that out and see how it works for you. Okay, last thing we're going to talk about is the age-old debate inside the picking circles about whether to play with a closed hand, the fist type position, or to play with an open free hand. Okay, I started out as a banjo player. Okay, so I started out obviously open-handed because I had to anchor my little finger on the head of the banjo to play. Okay, so whenever I moved over to guitar and started learning to flat pick, I did the same thing. I anchored my little finger, and I played like that actually for a couple years. And then just recently, over the last few months, I have changed to a closed hand position. And it kind of just dawned on me one day, a little analogy that I thought of. This is kind of harebrained. I'm not crazy, I promise, but to me it kind of makes sense. I was flipping through TV one day, and I happened to come upon the figure skating championships. Shut up. Anyway, I watched it just for a few seconds, and I noticed that when those little chicks were spinning on the ice, that whenever they wanted to go slower, they kept their arms straight out. And then as they wanted to speed up and increase their RPMs, they would tuck in and tuck in and tuck in. What they're doing is they're always, the same amount of mass, but now they're just condensing the amount of space that mass is in, and it's able to centrifugally move faster. Okay, I kind of look at my fist or my hand in that way. If I have my fingers all spread out and they're doing this while I'm trying to play, to me it seems like that it would be harder for me to control that and make really succinct, accurate, fast movements with an open hand going everywhere. It seems to me that if I close my hand, then I'm just having to deal with less of a club down here, okay? And that may make sense, it may not. I hope that helps you, but it's helped me. I've done that, and since I've my speed's really taken off, and so you can try that if you'd like. And once again, if you watch these great pickers, on YouTube or wherever, you'll see guys playing with an open hand, really loose technique, and then you'll see some guys that look like they're about to break the pick. They're squeezing so hard. But the key is, I think, for me, pull those fingers in, but not squeeze too hard to where you're tensing up and stressing out. Okay, be sure and check out my next installment of speed lesson. It'll be speed number 2, and where we're going to talk about applying what we've learned today to the guitar, how to hold our right hand on the guitar, what and what not to do. We're going to talk about some right hand exercises to really break down those barriers in our wrist to get that thing really smoking. Okay? It's going to be fun. Check them out. Thanks for bearing with me. I know this is a 10-minute lesson and nothing but talking, but I think it's important stuff. So adios. God bless. And please subscribe if you get a chance. Please, please, please subscribe.